The ISTJ, the embodiment of responsibility, the master of structure, the walking to-do list. They are the ones who live life by the book, sometimes literally, driven by duty, logic, and an unshakable commitment to doing things the right way. But with that comes the stereotype, the rigid traditionalist, the buzzkill who enforces the rules, the co-worker who gives you the look when you show up 5 minutes late. Welcome everyone to another Live Protocol video. ISTJs are often seen as stubborn, emotionally detached, and frustratingly inflexible. They cling to routine like a life raft, preferring what's tried and true over reckless innovation. Their world is built on reliability and predictability. Spontaneity feels like unnecessary chaos. Small talk is a waste of time. Forget about last-minute plans and feelings. If they can't be quantified or logically explained, they don't need to be discussed. And when confronted about their rigid nature, expect a dry, matter-of-fact response, an exasperated sigh, or a well-reasoned monologue about how structure is what keeps civilization from descending into anarchy. So emotionally, ISTJs can come off as cold and distant. They're not the type to shower you with affection or engage in deep emotional conversations. But if they care about you, you'll know it through quiet acts of service, unwavering loyalty, and an ability to remember obscure details about your life. Reliable? Absolutely. Exciting? Well, let's just say they probably won't be the one starting a spontaneous road trip at 2 a.m. But if you need someone to actually make sure the road trip is planned, packed, and executed with military precision, that's when the ISTJ truly shines. But where do these behaviors come from? What are the underlying mechanisms that work behind the curtains that earn them the stereotype of being boring? So ISTJs lead with introverted sensing, or SI, and in my theory of traumas, SI is characterized by the trauma of fear of change and the unknown. So people who contend with this trauma are naturally drawn to stability, routine, and the familiar. So change represents uncertainty, and uncertainty is a threat. So one that needs to be mitigated through tradition and the adherence to what is already proven to work. This is why ISTJs are often stereotyped as rigid and resistant to new ideas. It's not that they hate change for the sake of it, it's that change by default introduces risk. So for someone who leads with introverted sensing, or SI, risk isn't an exciting opportunity, it's a potential disaster waiting to unfold. So this deep-seated need for stability explains why ISTJs tend to be hyper-reliable. Their sense of security is built on predictability, knowing what to expect, and ensuring everything is in order. If a system works, why fix it? If the method has stood the test of time, why abandon it for something that's unproven? So their preference for structure also means they often struggle with spontaneity. Last-minute changes trigger a sense of unease, right? Because they disrupt the carefully maintained order that keeps everything running smoothly. But to the outside world, this can make ISTJs seem stubborn, but in reality, it's their way of protecting themselves from chaos. On an emotional level, this fear of the unknown can manifest as an aversion to overly expressive or unpredictable emotions, both in themselves and in others. So expressing deep feelings means opening the door to vulnerability, and vulnerability means lack of control. Instead of grand emotional gestures, ISTJs show their care through practical support, consistency, and quiet devotion. Their secondary function is extroverted thinking, or TE, and in my theory of traumas is characterized by the trauma of abandonment. People who contend with this trauma focus more on control, efficiency, and tangible results. To them, accomplishment isn't just a virtue, it is a survival mechanism. If they prove their usefulness, if they demonstrate competency, if they make themselves indispensable, it ensures they won't be left behind, abandoned. This underlying fear is also what causes their frustration with incompetence. To them, a lack of structure or discipline isn't just inefficient, it's dangerous. If people don't take their duties seriously, if order isn't upheld, then everything could fall apart. The trauma of abandonment isn't just a shadow lurking behind ISTJs' behavior. At their core, ISTJs don't just want to be reliable, they need to be. Deep down there's a fear. If I stop being useful, will I still be valued? Dependability isn't a virtue to them, it's survival, because if they are needed, if they are competent, if they fulfill their responsibilities without fail, then they will never be left behind. abandoned. So for ISTJs, these external frameworks provide certainty, stability, and a clear roadmap for staying secure. If they follow the rules, if they do things the right way, then they remain valuable and irreplaceable. We are all victims of our unconscious traumas, shaped by fears we don't always recognize, yet they dictate so much of our behavior. We like to think we are making conscious choices, but in reality, we are often just acting out the scripts written by our deepest wounds, and ISTJs are no exception. The deep fear of change and the unknown, SI, causes a relentless drive for stability, control, and structure. It is a defense mechanism against the terror they unconsciously feel of what may happen if things change. The trauma of abandonment, TE, demands that they prove their worth, forces them to measure themselves in terms of usefulness, traps them in a cycle where reliability is not just a virtue, but a necessity. But how do these behaviors make them appear in the eyes of others? As boring, right? So the world mistakes their caution for apathy, their discipline for lack of imagination, and their reliability for absence of depth. But underneath the meticulous schedules, the rigid adherence to structure, and the ever-present sense of duty, there is a person who simply wants to know, if I stop holding everything together, will I still be worth keeping around? Think about that. So understanding breeds acceptance. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That will allow us to keep making more videos like this. For more related content, please click on one of the suggested videos. Thank you for watching.